It's looking real bad for Will Smith in these streets. First, it's the whole entanglement shit in August Alsina. Then his daughter is writing Tupac letters. Now this shit. So a violinist named Brian King Joseph, you might recognize him from America's Got Talent.
Earlier this year, I was hired to be a performer on a major tour with somebody who is huge in the industry. Unfortunately, some things happened, and I can't get into the details of exactly what that was because it's already a legal issue.
So you and Diddy, you and Puff cool?
No, I don't really
Okay, damn, all right. I didn't know what that meant.
Being a celebrity sometimes comes with, like, everybody wants to be successful in a celebrity and stuff like that, but it comes with, you know, sometimes, and, you know, that's the only thing that I hate about it.
The internet did not wake up peacefully. It woke up like someone dropped a bomb straight into celebrity group chats, because when 50 Cent decides to expose something, oh, you already KNOW, it's not going to be calm, respectful, or even remotely subtle. And this time, he didn't just throw shade. He allegedly pointed straight at Bryshere and Will Smith with claims tied to some mysterious vacation footage. That has the internet acting like they just unlocked a hidden level in a game they weren't ready to. Played out because 1 minute, people were minding their business, scrolling, sipping tea, living life. And the next? Boom. Clips, rumors, whispers, and commentaries started flying around faster than Marvel spoilers on premiere night. And suddenly everybody's like, wait, this is what's been going on behind the scenes? Now here's the part that makes it even messier. This isn't just random gossip. This feels like one of those situations where the more you look into it, the weirder it gets. Because people aren't just reacting. They're connecting dots, revisiting old interviews, analyzing body language like they just got certified in FBI behavioral science overnight. And let's talk about the tone. Because it's not giving light drama. It's giving something's off and nobody knows how deep it goes. You've got fans defending, critics dragging, and neutral spectators slowly turning into investigators because the details being hinted at? Yeah, they're not sitting right with people at all. Meanwhile, 50? Oh, he's moving like a man who knows exactly what he's doing, dropping just enough to keep the internet spinning while not fully saying everything. And that right there? That's what's making this situation explode even harder, because now the question isn't just what footage. It's, why is this being brought up now? And what else hasn't been said yet? And trust me, once you see how this whole situation allegedly started, you're going to realize this might be way bigger than anyone expected. This whole situation didn't just randomly appear out of nowhere like some overnight scandal. No, it started quietly, almost invisibly, like background noise that nobody paid attention to until it got loud enough to shake the entire room. Because before 50 Cent even opened his mouth, there were already whispers floating around about Bryshere and Will Smith that people either ignored or brushed off as just internet talk. And that's how it always begins, right? Little moments, random clips, subtle interactions that don't seem important at first. Until suddenly, somebody connects them all together like a conspiracy board with red strings going everywhere. Because once people started revisiting older footage and interviews, certain things began to feel off, not obvious, not confirmed, but just enough to make people pause and go, wait, why does this look different now? Now here's where things start getting messy. Because Bryshere has already had his fair share of public ups and downs. And every time his name trends, it brings a wave of opinions with it. Some people defend him, saying he's been through a lot and deserves space to grow, while others immediately assume the worst based on past headlines. And that divide? Oh, it plays a huge role in how this story started building momentum. At the same time, you've got Will Smith, a name that carries weight in Hollywood like a brand that's been polished for decades. But ever since certain very public moments shook that image, people have been looking at him differently. Not necessarily canceling him, but definitely watching more closely. Analyzing everything like they're waiting for another unexpected headline to drop. So when both of those names started being mentioned in the same conversation, yeah, that alone was enough to get people curious. But curiosity turned into attention real quick when the first vacation footage rumors began circulating. And no, we're not talking about clear, confirmed clips that everyone could see. We're talking about mentions, hints, people claiming they saw something. People saying they heard about something. The kind of vague but intriguing information that spreads faster than facts. And once that phrase vacation footage started trending, the internet did what it does best. It filled in the blank dots. Suddenly, everybody had a theory. Some were wild, some were logical, some were straight up fiction, but all of them had one thing in common. They kept the conversation alive. Because when there's mystery involved, people don't wait for answers. They create them. Now enter 50 Cent, and this is where everything shifts from quiet whispers to loud chaos. Because if there's one thing about him, it's that he doesn't just comment on situations. He amplifies them. He turns a spark into a wildfire with one post, one caption. One perfectly timed jab that gets the internet screaming. And that's exactly what happened. Instead of ignoring the rumors or staying neutral, 50 stepped in with that signature energy, dropping hints, making comments, and basically telling the internet, yeah, there's something here. And the moment he did that, it validated the conversation in a way nothing else could, because now it wasn't just random users speculating. It was someone with influence, someone known for stirring the pot, putting his stamp on the situation. And whether you love him or hate him, when 50 Cent speaks on something, people listen, and let's not pretend his approach is subtle, because it's not. He knows exactly how to keep people hooked without giving everything away. A post here, a caption there, just enough to keep the mystery alive while making sure everyone stays tuned in for the next move. Meanwhile, the internet starts digging deeper. Old photos, past trips, interviews, collaborations, anything that could possibly connect Bryshere and Will in a way that fits the narrative. And the more people looked, the more they thought they were finding. Now whether those connections were real or just coincidence, that didn't even matter anymore. Because once the idea took hold, it started evolving into something bigger than facts. It became a story, and stories like this, they don't slow down. They escalate. Because now people weren't just asking, did something happen? They were asking, why does it feel like something is being hidden? And that question right there, that's the kind that turns curiosity into obsession. Then came the first wave of reactions. Not from celebrities yet, but from fans and commentators who thrive on breaking down situations like this. You had YouTubers analyzing every detail, TikTok creators recreating timelines, Twitter threads connecting dots like they were solving a mystery novel, and the tone? It was all over the place. Some people were laughing, treating it like entertainment, while others were dead serious, saying this might be something deeper than people realize. And that contrast? It only made the situation feel even more chaotic. Meanwhile, Will Smith and Bryshere Gray? Silent. Completely silent. And if there's one thing the internet hates more than anything, it's silence during controversy. Because silence doesn't calm things down. It fuels speculation. It makes people assume, guess, and sometimes even exaggerate what they think is happening. And that silence, combined with 50 Cent's hints, created the perfect storm. Because now, it felt like something was building. Not fully exposed, not fully explained. Just sitting there, waiting to either blow up or disappear. But if you know how these situations work, when something feels like it's about to explode, it usually does. And just when people thought this was going to stay in that rumor but no proof zone, the entire situation flipped like a double spot nobody saw coming. Because suddenly 50 Cent didn't just hint anymore. He leaned in heavier, dropping posts and captions that felt way too intentional to be random. The energy shifted instantly. Because now it wasn't just whispers floating around. It felt like someone with a front row seat was poking the situation on purpose, like, yeah, keep watching. And the internet? It didn't need to be told twice. People started moving like full-time investigators, pulling up old appearances of Bryshere Gray, revisiting every moment tied to Will Smith, comparing timelines, locations, interviews. Even outfits like this with some CSI episodes sponsored by social media chaos. And the deeper they dug, the more confident they became in their own theories. Not confirmed facts, but confidence? Sky high. Because once people think they see a pattern, it doesn't matter if it's real or coincidence. It becomes their truth. Now here's where things got wild in a completely different way. The memes. Because the internet can turn anything into humor, even situations that feel uncomfortable. And suddenly timelines were flooded with reactions comparing this whole situation to Marvel plot twists, Zeus network fights, even reality TV storylines that went completely off the rails. But here's the catch. These weren't just jokes for laughs. They were jokes with side-eye energy, the kind that says, we're laughing. But something about this isn't funny. And that underlying tension? Yeah, you could feel it through the screen. Then came the influencer breakdowns. You had creators sitting in front of cameras like courtroom analysts, pausing clips, connecting timelines, explaining theories like they were presenting evidence to a jury. And the craziest part? People were actually treating it like evidence. Look at this interview. Now compare this moment. Now listen to what 50 said here. And suddenly, the narrative started feeling structured, almost believable, even though nothing had been officially confirmed. That's the power of repetition. The more something gets discussed, the more real it feels. Meanwhile, the silence from both Bryshere and Will? Oh, it started getting loud. And Will? Oh, it started getting loud. Because at this point, people weren't just curious anymore. They were demanding some kind of response. Even a denial, even a vague statement, anything to break the tension. But nothing came. And that silence? It turned into fuel dot because now the conversation shifted from "is this true?" to "why aren't they saying anything?" And that right there? That's when things escalate from drama to full-blown speculation frenzy dot. Then came the celebrity reactions. Subtle at first, but noticeable enough to add pressure. You had side comments, indirect references, people clearly aware of the situation but not fully diving in. And in Hollywood? That kind of half reaction speaks louder than a full statement, because it tells the audience, yeah, we see it too. And once that door opened, the floodgates followed. Fans started picking sides like it was a championship match. Some defending Will's legacy like it was a protected monument. Others questioning everything like they just unlocked a new level of skepticism. And Bryshere? He ended up right in the middle, with people debating his past, his behavior, and whether any of this even made sense. But the messiest part? Contradictions. Because as more clips resurfaced, people started noticing things that didn't quite line up. Timelines that felt stretched, moments that could be interpreted multiple ways. Details that didn't fully connect but still looked suspicious enough to keep the conversation alive. And the internet? Oh, it loves contradictions because contradictions don't stop a story. They stretch it. They create more questions, more angles, more debates. It turns one narrative into 10 different versions, each one fighting to be the real one, and that's exactly what happened. You had 10 different theories floating at once, each backed by different clips, different interpretations, different levels of belief. And instead of canceling each other out, they all existed at the same time, creating pure chaos. Meanwhile, 50 Cent kept doing what he does best, staying just active enough to keep things alive without fully closing the loop. A post here, a reaction there, just enough to remind everyone, yeah, don't forget about this. And that strategy? Genius, messy, but genius, because it kept the spotlight exactly where he wanted it. On the mystery, not the answer, and just when people thought they had reached peak chaos, something else dropped. Not a full reveal, not clear proof, but another detail, another piece of the puzzle that didn't simplify anything. It complicated it even more. Because now people weren't just questioning what happened. They were questioning whether the story they built in their heads was even close to the truth. And that's when things go from viral to completely out of control. By the time the internet thought it had reached peak chaos, it didn't calm down, it mutated into something even messier. Like a reality show finale where every secret gets exposed at once and nobody leaves the stage the same. Because now, this wasn't just about 50 Cent stirring the pot anymore. This had turned into a full-blown reputation battlefield for Bryshere, Gray, and Will Smith. And here's the thing about internet storms like this. They don't just stay focused on one topic. They expand, pulling in past moments, old headlines, forgotten controversies, anything that can be used to either defend or destroy a narrative. Suddenly, everything these two have ever done started getting re-examined like a Netflix docuseries that just dropped overnight. Fans weren't just reacting anymore. They were choosing sides with the intensity of a championship match. Some stood 10 toes down defending Will's legacy like it was a cultural landmark that couldn't be questioned, while others were like, nah, something about this whole situation feels off. And Bryshere? Oh, he got caught right in the middle of that storm, with people debating his past like it was newly discovered evidence. Meanwhile, the silence continued. And at this point, it wasn't just noticeable. It was deafening because the longer nobody addressed anything directly, the more people started filling in the blanks themselves. And when the internet fills in blanks, it doesn't go halfway. It goes all the way into theories, assumptions, and full-blown narratives that start sounding real, just because they're repeated enough times. And that's when the emotional fallout really hit. Because behind all the memes, the debates, the viral posts, there was something deeper happening. People weren't just entertained anymore. They were uncomfortable. That uneasy feeling started creeping in, the kind that makes you question whether what you're watching is actually funny, or if it crossed into something else entirely. But of course, the internet doesn't slow down for discomfort. Instead, it doubled down. More breakdown videos dropped, more threads went viral. More creators jumped in trying to piece everything together like it was a puzzle with missing pieces. And the more they tried to solve it, the more complicated it became. Then came the turning point, a quiet detail. Something that didn't explode immediately but spread like wildfire once people caught onto it. And this detail? It didn't confirm anything. It didn't prove anything. But it changed the way people looked at the entire situation. Because now the conversation shifted again. From what happened to what if we've been focusing on the wrong part this whole time? Yeah, let that sit for a second, because suddenly all those clips, all those theories, all those debates, they started feeling like surface level distractions compared to what people were now hinting at behind the scenes. And if even a fraction of those new whispers hold any weight, then this situation isn't just messy. It's something way bigger than anyone signed up for. And here's the part that really locked people in. Nobody could confirm anything, but nobody could fully dismiss it either. That gray area? Oh, it's where chaos lives, because when something can't be proven or disproven, it keeps the conversation alive forever. It turns one viral moment into an ongoing saga, the kind where every new post, every new reaction, every new hint feels like another episode dropping. Meanwhile, 50 Cent stayed just close enough to the situation to keep it breathing. Not over-explaining, not clarifying, just existing in that space like, yeah, y'all see it too. And that alone? That kept people hooked, because now it didn't feel like a finished story. It felt like a setup for something bigger. Something that hasn't fully come out yet. Something that people are still trying to figure out in real time. And that's why nobody is letting it go, because deep down everyone feels it. That this isn't the end. Not even close. In fact, this might just be the beginning of a much bigger conversation that hasn't even reached its peak yet. Now, if your mind isn't spinning right now, I need you to rewind this whole thing, because what did we just witness? This situation went from quiet whispers to full-blown internet chaos faster than you can say plot twist, and something tells me we're still nowhere near the final chapter. So, go ahead and smash that like button like it owes you rent money, because clearly, this is one of those stories you need to stay locked into. And don't just sit there silently scrolling like you didn't just hear all of this. Drop your thoughts in the comments right now. Are you believing the hints? Are you side-eyeing the silence? Or are you sitting back like, yeah, something about this just doesn't add up? Because let's be real. Everybody watching this has a theory, and I know yours is probably wild. And if you're not subscribed yet, what are you doing? Hit that subscribe button like you just caught the biggest twist of the year, because Fame Blue is where the drama gets uncovered, flipped upside down, and served hotter than anything else on your timeline. Trust me, you do not want to miss what comes next. Because if this is how the story looks right now, the next update might break the internet completely, and when it does, you already know the only place to be: Fame Blue, where the truth doesn't just come out, it explodes. Come out. It explodes.